Okay, we're continuing the Maimer of Parshas Vayakhel in these booklets. We're on page 4. The Alter Rebbe began to explain the concept of Ani Havaya Leishanisi, which we went into that idea with that concept is because we began with the idea of the Mishkan, of the Shechanti B'Seicham, and bringing down the Shechina below. So in order to understand that, this is done through Torah and Mitzvahs, which is the Yeriyas HaMishkan and the Kelim of the Mishkan. And in order to understand that better, so the Alter Rebbe went into the concept of Ani Havaya Leishanisi. And we said that Ani Havaya Leishanisi is because the Bria Sa'ilam, the creation of the world, is only a ha'ara of the Eibishter. And al derech, like it says, that it's only shame or malchus. Mashenkein, the Eibishter himself, Dani is Leishanisi. That was the just the nekuda. And now we're continuing that idea. V'hinei, mebchinas midas malchus yizbarech, nimshach ha'er v'achayis, gamkein bebeis b'chinas. So, we're not talking about the ani anymore. We're talking about the way the Eibishter is expressed through Malchus. And in Malchus itself, that's what says Melech Yeshiv al Kisei Ram V'Nisa, that even the Malchus is transcendent. So from the Malchus, so Nimshach Ha'er V'Achayis, Gamkein bebeis b'chinas. The chayis comes in two ways: soviv kol almin and mamalik kol almin. And the Alter Rebbe teaches Dahainu shli yizki b'chinas malchus hu gamkein b'chinas ein seif mamish. So, being that malchus itself, the malchus of the Eibishter, as we said before, is ein seif. So therefore, v'zeh pirush v'inyan erein seif aniska b'sfarim. And when it says erein seif, that's what it means. It's not erein seif. It's not talking about the Eibishter himself. It's talking about the malchus of the Eibishter, the expression of the Eibishter. Ki er hu b'chinas gilui v'hamshachar matzmusim husei. The Shemesh itself is called not Er but Mor. So also the Eibishter is not Er but is Mor. So we talk about Er in Seif. Er is the expression from. Avol Er hainu aziv hanimshach mimor HaShemesh umeir la'aretz v'ladar maleha. In the mashal of the Shemesh, v'kach b'chinas Er in Seif while derech mashal. So too, the Erein Seif is a mashal ziv animshach v'mehusei v'atzmusei yizbarach. Aval mehusei v'atzmusei yizbarach mamash l'shayach kol lashon er. So the Alter Rebbe defines what is Erein Seif. Er is not on the mehusei of the Eibishter, the essence of the Eibishter, but Er is only because the essence of the Eibishter, that's the Mor. The Er is only an expression of the Mor, just like the mashal of the Shemesh. But nevertheless, it's the Er that comes from the Mer. And being that it's the Er that comes from the Mer, and so therefore the Er itself is also Ein Seif. Aliyas ki Eru gamkin v'chinas Ein Seif mamish. Al kein iyav shelo elam es lahachad b'seichen ha'er. So therefore, being that it's Ein Seif, the Er is Ein Seif, so the elements which are finite can't contain the infinite air, the infinite light. Shaloi is battle mitzias mamish. So lekach ikir air. So being that the air is Ein Seif, so that's why the ikir air is b'chinas seif v'makif alein. Seif v'makif means that it's not able to be contained by the Elam. Rak shayidei tzimtzum rava atzum nimshach ez hamshacha mitzimtzemes me'er liyis mislabish b'terech ha'elamis v'nikr memali kalamin. So what is mislabish in the Elam? What is invested in the Elam? That's the memali kalamin. That's a mitzumtzum. So the Alter Rebbe is mechalek, makes distinction between the ikar and the ha'ara of the itself, which is the mitzumtzum. Now that we explain the idea of Aniya Vailish Nisi and the Indian of so Zayuvan Gamkin Tuv Tam Lamasha Kina Mekubalim Labchinas Hamshachas Achayis Ma'abiri Baruch B'Shem Erkinal B'Inyan Lashoin Erin Tov. So why did they dafka choose? Why did the Mekubalim, the Kabbalists, dafka choose when talking about the expression of the Eibishter? They use the term Er as opposed to Shafa. So the Alter Rebbe says, we spoke about this last time. So one of the reasons, Alter Rebbe says there's many reasons why they chap on dafka the example of Er. But one of the reasons is kikmei begashmis inyan ha'ara. Shehu amshach ziv Hashem asher leiz davar. Hine ari aziv urak b'chinas makiv aleiz davar v'ene nichnas v'pnim yusei. So just like begashmis, when you use the mashal of Er, so what is a ha'ara? It's there to express what type of phenomenon? A phenomenon where that which is shining, that which is being expressed is the way it's being expressed is in a way where it's not being absorbed in a true intimate way. Nimtza sha'arei hamshacha v'gilu mahalim. What does it mean? It's not nichnas v'pnim yosei. Meaning to say that just like the shemesh, that we said in the previous class, the shemesh doesn't matter if the shemesh is in a palace or the shemesh is in a dump. It doesn't. There's no distinction. Meaning to say that the shemesh is the shemesh, the light is there. It doesn't matter who the recipient is. If by a teacher and a student, for example, the teacher gives over an idea, so he has to tailor it to the student that he should be able to understand it, he should be able to absorb it, digest it. By the sun, by the light of the sun, it doesn't matter. It's there wherever it may be. Narvas. The difference is that there is two stages though. You have two states rather. You have whether the air is begilui, whether the air is revealed, or is behelim. But not the being behelim means that there's something that prevents it from reaching any given place. If we're talking about in the physical sense of the Ur HaShemesh. But when that is removed, when that which is preventing it is removed, so automatically it's there also. Wherever it is, it's wherever the Ur is, wherever the Shemesh is as a mar, so the Ur is there all around. When you talk about the Shefa, so in order for the Shefa to reach a certain place, so it has to be tailored, it has to be measured for that place. That's the pshat, that it's nichnas v'pnim yusei. It's there, it's measured according to the mekabel, to the recipient. So if so every expression will be different depending on the mekabel. Just like the teacher, he's teaching. So when every student takes it in a different way, he has to tailor it. He has to measure it to the students in general, but specifically to that particular student. He receives it in an individual way. But that definition is only there when we talk about shefa. What do we want to bring out with the expression er? We want to bring out with the expression er that the er is there. It's present everywhere. It doesn't matter. The only thing is that there could be a state where the er is begilui, when it's revealed, or it's behelim, because something is preventing it. But not to say that it has to go through a sort of a hishtalshelus, a process. That's what the Alter Rebbe is bringing out. Nimtza sha'ara hi amshacha v'gila me'ahelim. Shari kasheyesh onon ve'ein hashemesh meir as a helim gomer. That's when it's concealed, when there's a cloud. Kashaziv nimshach u'meir la'aretz oder me'aleh as a gilu. So that's the phenomenon of er. So to the er in seif, that's what we said before. There are two b'chinas, two different ways that the er is revealed. One is er seviv klam, sharu gilu lahachis bechinas elimus. B'koydem b'ris ha'elam hayashmei nichla bechinas levade. Before the world, before the creation, so there the shmei, which is the er, that's incorporated within the Eibishter, the muhusav atzmusei. As Chazal say, hu shmei belvad, that his name was only existed his name, which is the which was part of the Eibishter himself. Shahaya shmei b'chinas levad. But b'riyas ha'elam nimshach li is gilui, but creating the world, that's when there's a gilui. We said through malchus, so shahaya b'chinas sev kalamin. So even though there was a gilui, meaning now that we, just like by the shemesh, what does we mean? There's a gilui. There's nothing that is preventing it from being mispashet, from being present, but nevertheless it's in a way of makiv.
Isn't it now also hu shmei yavade? Saying ani v'alei shanisi. What changed?
No, so haya. What when we say that there's a creation of Eilam, so now, so the air is what is, because there's nothing kaviyachal, there's no anan, there's nothing obstructing. So now automatically the air is revealed. You see, the Alter Rebbe is medayik sheyishmei bebechinas levadei. Not that the Eibishter. The Eibishter is ato the kredim shnev leilam and achash shnev leilam, but the shmei, the air. So the air, there's a shinu in the air, that the air is nesgala. Even that, what's pshat is a shinu in the air? The air is nesgala, as b'derech hamela, but not that it was before. It was only levadei, It was the Ohr was Begeder Levade, and now the Ohr is Meir in a
The animal was removed and the Ohr is.
yeah. That's what David HaMelech says. We say in Ashri. Ari mimcha elikai HaMelech. So Ari mimcha elikai HaMelech, as Alter Rebbe will soon say, that is the recognition of that the Melech Malchus is really Ari Mimcha is beyond what it's beyond Olam. And V'avar Hashem Chol Olam V'ed is to bring down the Gilui of the Eibishter into the world. But the first thing the Alter Rebbe points out is the Chura, what is V'avar Hashem Chol Olam V'ed? I will bless your name forever. If we're talking about blessing the Eibishter's name forever, if we're talking about that as in the realm of Aveda, so every person has a certain time that he's alive. So what is the forever? It's for that period of time that a person exists. Like it says in Tillim, Shivim Shana, 70 years. In Shmeidim Shana. But what is the Avar Hashem Chalelam Vad? The Lechura Lashon Leilam Vad ain't a movement. Shari Mishneh say to them Shivim Shana. Ella the Pirush Avar Hashimcha. What is the Avar Hashimcha? Hainu laham shegile lekuse b'teichel mismamesh. Now, what is the Avar Hashimcha? The Avarcha is to bring down your name. We said before, we said, what's the name? That's the Ohr. The Ohr. Shmei, the Hu, Shmei. The Shmei is the Ohr of the Eibishter, and the Ohr is Laham Shagil Kus B'Teich Olam Esmamish. The Avar Chashimcha Li'olam V'ed. To bring down the Ohr into the world. And what bringing down the Ohr into the world, that's the Olam V'ed. That's not the Olam V'ed is going on the person, because the person only has a certain amount of time. The Olam V'ed is the Ohr is the Olam V'ed. The Gilui is the Olam V'ed. The way this is what David HaMelech is describing. How do you bring down the Ohr? That it should be Olam V'ed. In other words, the Gilui. That it should be in the world is the first. You have Ari Mimcha. The Pirush Ari Mimcha is, what does Ari Mimcha mean? Reimimos v'hisnasus shel b'chinas hamelech. That's Ari Mimcha. I exalt you is the exalting and lifting up Kaviyachal, the Melech, which is Seviv Kalamin. V'hu b'chinas Seviv Kalamin. Mishal hisnasus hamelech al ameh, he bechinas makiv. That from this seviv, first is seviv kalamin, and then from seviv umisham yumshach achar kach lias avar chashim chol olam v'ed bechinas hamelech. V'zeu, and this is what it says: B'kol divrei likim chayim melech elam, as kol hu amshacha b'pnimis. That kol divrei likim chayim. What's the kol? Kol is the Amshacha, we said before, that the Indian of Mashmiim B'ir Yachad B'Kol Divrei Likim Chai. The Kol denotes a Amshacha that comes in a pneumistic way. Just like when you hear a voice, you hear it, you're absorbing it, you're recognizing it. So the Kol Divrei Likim Chayim is the Amshacha that comes in a. That's synonymous with Memalik Kalamin. So first is Ari Mimcha Lekaya Melech, which is Seviv Kalamin, and then comes the Indian of Memalik. V'hinei Kameish B'chol Zer V'chayis Nimshach Mein Tzei Baruch Hu Lachis Elmas Yesh Beis B'china Seviv Memalik. So just like in general, the Chayis, the Ohr V'chayis that comes and that gives life and vitality to the world. we said is through these two ways, through Seviv Kalamin and Memale Kalamin, as kach gam be'inyan amshach as gilei likusi yisbarach. Shana mamshichem aydeteru mitzvahs ish gam ken beis b'chinas elu. So too, when we bring the gilei likus in the world, is also through, which we're mamshech, we're bring down through Torah and mitzvahs, is also through these two aspects, the aspect of Seviv and the aspect of Memale. Or in another way to describe it, an aspect of through a way of makif and a way of pnimi. And that's Torah and mitzvahs. Mitzvahs bring that is in the way of levushim, shu b'chinas makif. But just like a levush, a garment surrounds, encompasses the person. Torah is the idea of mazin, which sustains, which is a pnimi. So now the Alter Rebbe is going to explain the difference between Torah and mitzvahs. So first, the Alter Rebbe will explain the inyan of mitzvahs, mainly, which that we said is connected with the areas, the aspect of the Mishkan, the surrounding aspect of the Mishkan, the covering of the Mishkan. Then, before the Alter Rebbe explains the inyan of Torah, so he's going to be magdim, he's going to introduce, to be preface the idea of Shabbos. Because as we said before, the whole Maimer is based on what we're learning in the Parsha. So as a introduction to the Mishkan, you first have to have Shabbos. Shabbos is what facilitates the idea. Shabbos and the Mishkan, just like the Mishkan is the idea of Shabbos, meaning to say that what happens on Shabbos, there's the Malachas HaMishkan, the work that needs to be done in the Mishkan, which that is in order to build the Mishkan. So that is connected with the days of the week, the 6 days of the week. And then you have the Mishkan, the outcome of that's the Mishkan itself, which that is the inyan of Shabbos. The inyan of Shabbos is the Mishkan itself. That's the V'shachanti b'seichem. That's where the Shechina resides. Just like you have the days of the week, and then you have Shabbos. Shabbos is the Gilui, is a Gilui that happens as a result. It's a higher, but it's a result of the Aveda that we do during the week. So we'll skip the next piece, because I wanted to learn a little bit of what the Alter Rebbe says regarding Shabbos. Well, there's even without getting all the details of the Maimer, this itself is a concept which is very which is kedai to know, and it gives you a different perspective on Shabbos. So let's, on page 5, Vihine. On the second column. Vihine, koidem, she's bar beprat, be'inyan b'chinas ha'madrigas tzera, tzarech l'var, klol ha'sidim b'chinas ha'Shabbos mal. Vihine. Vihine yedua. Maimer Azal. Sheb'Shabbos niteisu b'chol echad v'echad misol neshama yisera. That on Shabbos each one of us receives what's called the neshama yisera. Now, when you read that simply, so you understand, what is a neshama yisera? You get another neshama. So, first of all, why do you need another neshama? You're alive. What do you need another neshama for? And if you need another neshama, what's the function of that neshama? Where do you see it apparent? This other neshama. Ulachura ain't moving mao in haneshama yisera. Hale ein nirgash b'nefesh adet tesefes chayes b'Shabbos yesim echal hashavua. Mela, a person on Shabbos feels more alive, more energy. So then you can explain this neshama yisera. Why do you feel that extra burst of energy? It's because you have another neshama. But on Shabbos, we don't feel more chayis, more energy than you do during the rest of the week. So what is this idea of neshama yisera that takes place on Shabbos? So the Alter Rebbe is going to explain that you have the avodah of during the week and you have the avodah on Shabbos, and it's not only two parallel avodas, two different avodas, but the avodah of during the week is in order to be able to have the avodah of Shabbos. What Shabbos represents, you have to go through, like we said before, you have to go through the avodah during the week. What's the avodah during the week? The avodah during the week is, as the Alter Rebbe brings from the Zohar, what is real avodah? We're not talking about in a simple sense where you work, and the simple idea of working on a very, very simplistic level. You work during the week, so you have money for Shabbos, because Shabbos you're not allowed to work. And the money you use during the week, you use to buy food on Shabbos. Right? That's a simple, very basic. If you didn't have money during the week, you wouldn't be able to buy food on Shabbos. But that's on a simple level. But what does it mean, the work that we're talking about? So he brings a Zohar. That work is loving Hashem. Leis pulchana k'pulchana d'rechemusa. There's no work like the work of one needs to do to arouse the love of Hashem within you. It requires a tremendous amount of toil, of work. The strenuous labor of to bring yourself to love Hashem is a very difficult. It's hard to attain that, because everything else in the world is against you. Imagine you have to, talk about encouraging children and supporting them and giving them confidence. Imagine that everybody, the teachers, the parents, their friends, everybody's telling them how they're not going to succeed. Well, they probably won't succeed then, right? It's hard. You have to. So, in Al Derech Zeh, the whole world is against us in the sense that you have all the desires and the pleasures of the world around you as distractions. So to be able to overcome that, to be able to see beyond it, like we learned last week, to be able to see that the Chaim and the Mavis, true life, what's everything else is Mavis, is death, is deteriorating, is not real. It doesn't have substance to it. So to be able to go beyond that requires a very, very difficult avodah. And that avodah you have just like you have on Shabbos. During the week, you have the different malachas, the different work that you need to do in order to produce food, and in order to all the different things that they used to do in the Mishkan that you're not allowed to do, and it's to make the Mishkan. So you're not allowed to do on Shabbos, meaning that's associated with the weekly avodah. So all of those avodas, all of those different types of work, that's what a person needs to do in order to ensure that he's able to have a love of the Eibishter. So you have plowing, and you have sowing, and reaping. All of that is all connected, each one. The Alter Rebbe doesn't explain it here, he explains it in other places. Each one, for example, plowing. plowing, in order to be able to have Avos Hashem, so you have to feel a sense of humility. Plowing is breaking the earth, breaking it up, so that now it can receive that seed in order to be able to be planted. So you have to have, in order to have the Ava, the love, you have to have, you can't go eat a steak and enjoy yourself, whatever else, and then all of a sudden you want to love Hashem. You have an avodah. There's 39 malachas, 39 different parts of different aspects of the work which bring to loving Hashem. So that's avodah. The avodah of Ava. Shabbos is a different type of Ava completely. That's an Ava which comes from above. That's an Ava which is it's a whole different caliber of Ava. So this is the idea that Alter Rebbe is saying here, is the Neshama Yisera. That's the idea of the Neshama Yisera. Neshama Yisera is that on Shabbos you're able to have, you're available if you do the work. It's there, but if you're not prepared for it, then you're not available for it, so you won't even feel it. You're not going to sense it. But on Shabbos, you're available for a whole different caliber of Ava. An Ava which doesn't require work. An Ava that comes milamayla, neshama yisera. This is the gift that the Eibusha gives us on Shabbos. So when we approach, when we understand that, we see Shabbos in this light. So Shabbos becomes a whole different. There's a whole different meaning in Shabbos. There's a lot of laws of Shabbos. We know the basic laws. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, if you don't learn the laws of Shabbos, then it's impossible to properly keep Shabbos. You have to learn the laws of Shabbos. There's so many different laws and so many things, unless you stay in one place and you don't move. But every aspect of how you should, it even goes into thought. But even if it's not directly connected with thought, for sure in speech, and definitely in action, in what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. Now, it's not the pshat that it's Shabbos is just, we're trying to limit you. But we're trying, the idea is that you should be available, you should be open to be able to connect to this tremendous energy, this tremendous gilui that takes place on Shabbos. So, for example, one of the things which, obviously, you don't drive, you don't carry, you don't use electricity, all the basic things we know what keeping Shabbos is. But let's say, for example, on Shabbos, you're not allowed to talk about business. You're not allowed to talk about things of have to do during the week. How common is it? When is the best discussions take place about all the good investments and what you should do is on Shabbos, or either by a Shabbos table or by a Kiddush club or whatever it is, let alone by Kriyas Satira. But all the things to discuss. So it's not the pshat. We just Shabbos is there to kind of to limit you. But fakir, Shabbos, there's such a revelation that takes place on Shabbos. You have to be available. In order to be available to it, you have to detach yourself from all these things, and that's the neshama yisera. So that's what the Alter Rebbe goes into here.
And what about the question he had that we don't feel it, and this we feel it. We have if we tap into it.
Yeah, you have to have the mishatarach b'Shabbos. That's the avodah that we do, the regular avodah of Avos Hashem, right? The pulchana derichimusa, and that when we prepare properly, then that is what allows us to experience the avodah of Shabbos.